Welcome to episode 85 of the Concealed Taco Dudes podcast.
Woo! 85. That's a lot of episodes.
85.
That is a lot of episodes. We need to start taking every other week off.
That'd be nice, a vacation. So tonight I should say tonight. Tonight we have me, Taco.
Jason, Concealment Solutions.
Mark, and so my girls are watching The Bachelor in the other room. I'll give you guys an update.
Oh, gosh.
Not again. And Evan.
And Evan, yeah, I'm the guy who does the cameras.
Yeah, for on my channel, the Full.Lead.Taco
He's
channel.
been doing the cameras for Concealed Taco Dudes podcast this whole time. In case you guys been interested.
Yeah. So Evan, he's on a lot of my videos and helps me with the camera work, and he lets me buy his guns sometimes.
What a nice friend.
He's an awesome friend, but we're glad to have him on the podcast tonight.
Yep. Cool. Do we want to jump into sponsors right away like usual, or did you have something else to get into first?
Yeah, let's jump into sponsors.
All right. We'll start with NOE, even though we are not at the NOE studios today, but they still make the finest gun molds out there.
Bullet molds.
Or bullet molds, not gun molds.
So yes,
The ATF's going to be knocking on his door now.
yeah, I was going to say, we'll talk about it with what we did with guns, but I used multiple NOE molds this last week. So
Nice.
very awesome products, good high quality for the price.
Yeah.
Good value.
He wouldn't be overwhelmed with orders right now if he was schlepping mediocre stuff.
Yeah. So use coupon code FLT001 and that'll save you 10% off your order.
Sweet. Utah Airguns at utahairguns.com. I was there today.
Surprise.
Did you pick up your gun yet?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
I walked through the back room, or I should say back rooms and basement with multiple rooms with Justin while we were looking for some stuff. I cannot believe with the inventory that they have that they're ever out of anything. They have so much inventory. It is crazy. And they're shipping stuff all over the world. You know, I think I heard, and I can't remember where I heard this from. I should confirm it with Justin before I go blabbing about it. But I heard that there is only one other place, one other shop or outlet that sells more air guns than Utah Airguns in the world.
Wow.
Mm.
And I believe it based on what I saw today.
Well, that building is deceptively large.
Yeah, goes on forever.
You would never guess how large it is based on just driving by and looking at it from the outside.
I would not be surprised if there were people living in nooks and crannies back there from previous ownership. You would never know. You would never know. Anyway, Utah Airguns has deep inventory of some of the best stuff out there for air guns and air gun accessories. You'll find them at utahairguns.com. And when you order with them, use the code AirCandy. That'll give you free shipping and free turret stickers. So you can mark up.
Did you just say air guns and air gun accessories? You did.
Yeah.
It's like, propane and propane accessories.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
No, nothing. It's just
I like propane accessories when I'm getting
Judge
my propane.
cartoons. Mike Judge cartoons.
Oh, okay. It went over my head. You're too intellectual for me, Mark.
You don't know.
Speaking of intellectual, wait till we get to the Bachelor update.
Oh gosh. That is not on my list of things to cover.
Well, try to stop me.
They are not a sponsor, Mark.
Black ice coatings. I talked to Lee a little bit today. Not about a gun. I have a plan to have one of my mountain bikes hydro dipped.
The pigs?
Wow.
Are you going to go with the pigs?
No, I'm not going to say. It's going to be a secret.
I've been chatting back and forth with Lee about which gun to get, the pigs done on. But I kind of had a revelation. I have a Savage Hog Hunter.
Oh.
And that kind of screams out like pink piggies, right?
Yes, it does.
I might have to get that one dipped with the piggy hydro dipping.
Nice. But check out Black Ice Coatings at blackicecoatings.com. You'll find them as well as Utah Airguns on Instagram and Facebook and all that other good stuff. I think is Al on Instagram also?
He is, but he doesn't really post much.
Not super active. He's got too much going on. Anyway, Black Ice Coatings, fabulous gun finishes, hydro dipping, Cerakoting. Teflon coating is our favorite. If you want it slickery, that's where you got to go. So check them out. Let them know that you heard about them from us. You do talk to Lee over there. Okay, listener feedback.
All right, we have just one quick listener feedback message. It was an email, and this one is from Brett B. And he said, "I wanted to say thank you for the nice prize." He said price pack, but I assume he meant prize pack because you didn't charge him, did you?
Yeah, I sent a bill with it.
Yeah. So he says, the nice prize pack, Concealed Taco Dudes Concealment Solutions. The swag bag was cool. Before I could even get to it, my wife claimed the magnets for the fridge. My daughter, Jessie, claimed the largest Taco Dude sticker and left me with the rest when I got home. I absolutely loved
That's hilarious.
He says he loves the minimalist wallet that you sent.
Yeah. So awesome. I sent him a Kydex wallet, a Concealed Taco Dudes and Concealment Solutions refrigerator magnet, and some stickers of both of various sizes. So sounds like his daughter stole the 5-inch Concealed Taco Dudes bumper sticker.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So cool. And everybody else that won stuff from our raffle or whatever it was that we did, that stuff is all on its way. The bigger the scope and the hat, and I can't even remember who it went to, but it just shipped out yesterday, and I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, that may have been because you and I were talking about me doing that, and then we stopped talking about it.
Well,
so maybe
it's because I had all the other swag that I was going to throw in with it. So I have all the swag. I'm the swag hag.
True.
Anyway, so that stuff's coming. If you haven't received it yet, it may be the grand prize coming to you.
Maybe.
Or it just got lost, which is probably more likely with the way the Postal Service is lately. Cool. How about what we did with guns? We ready for that? Taco, let's start with you. We always make you go last.
So me?
Yeah.
Me first? Woo! All right. Okay, so I did a bunch of casting. I had to actually do a bunch of work this weekend, but during some of the slower times, I went outside to the garage and I had my pot going, my casting pot.
Does your boss know?
The pot, the smoking pot. Yeah, if you smoke that pot, then you'd probably die. But
not probably.
But yeah, so I ended up using one of my newer molds. It was a 338 mold for the 338 Spectre. And so I actually cast with 3 different NOE 338 molds. One of them is the really big, heavy one for the subsonics, and it's a 315 grain. Then the newer one I got is like a 265 grain projectile. And I'll hold it up to the camera so people can see. It looks beautiful, nice and shiny. And I can't wait to get
just like a bullet.
Yeah. Jason's like, looks like a bullet to me.
It's bullet shape.
Yeah. So this one, I can't wait to get it coated and then get some loaded in the little 338 Spectre cartridge. And I also loaded up some 205 or cast some 205s, and those ones have a gas check shank. So I need to pick up some gas checks, see if Al still has some gas checks in stock. I guess gas checks have been like selling out like crazy too, like every other gun.
Like primers.
Thing. Yeah, primers, everything.
They almost are a primer.
Explain to those of us who are not in the casting world what a gas check is.
Okay, so a gas check is kind of like a short copper cup, or it can be made out of aluminum, and that crimps in on the bottom or base of the bullets for cast bullets. And what they usually do is, as a very general rule, under 1900, 2000 feet per second, you can use just plain base, bullets, and they are fine. But when you go above 2000 feet per second or so, then you kind of want to use a gas check. And they also come in handy when you're using like a little bit softer of a bullet, like a hollow point, and you want it to expand. And then so you put a gas check on there to help it protect the base and everything. So that's what a gas check is. And Al at NOE sells those.
Okay.
But I'm not sure what his stock looks like because people have messaged me
Taco,
saying, go ahead.
Can you speak to the issue of, does it keep your gun cleaner? And also, is it as accurate with the gas check?
So what I tell people usually is that if the bullet mold has a gas check shank, I gas check them. I just don't get as good at accuracy when it has the gas check shank in the bullet mold, and then I don't gas check them. But as far as accuracy, you can still get good accuracy with or without. It's just you got to keep them in their velocity and pressure ranges respectively. So a plain base, you're going to keep it a little bit slower and lower pressures. Gas check allows you to push it hotter and faster. So
great, thanks.
But yeah, now with all the coating, like powder coating or the high tech coating of the cast bullets, it seems like I don't think it's as much of a keep the lead out of your barrel type thing. That's more of a bullet fit to the bore. But yeah, it's more like velocity and pressures. But anyways, so I did that, and I helped a friend came over, and I helped him load up some 223, and we cast a bunch of 45 ACP bullets with a different group, and I coated them, and I've been working on sizing them, and we loaded some of those up, and we did some more 300 blackout, and I helped another friend do some 9mm casting. So he went over to NOE and picked up some lead ingots, and then he brought them over here, and I helped him cast a big pile of 9mm bullets. So we cast them and coated them, and probably this week sometime I'll help him size them, and then go ahead and help him figure out the seating depth and stuff. And he's pretty new into reloading, and so I just want to say my goal of like helping 10 people with casting and reloading, I think I've doubled it so far, and I'm up to like 20 something. So that was a good goal that got kind of underestimated with how many people actually wanted to dive into casting and reloading and needed some help. So I also did a little bit of shooting, but the shooting that I did was only with air guns, not with the powder burners. And I shot the Crown
What's wrong
more.
with that?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Don't be talking down the air guns.
I just, man, the smell of some ram shot tack, when it burns, it just smells good to me. Like, I don't know. It's like some guys like the smell of gas or diesel or whatever, man, that
sure.
Like a little
Castor
cartridge
oil at the racetrack.
When you fire a 223 cartridge and burn up some of that ram shot tack and you give it a little sniff, it smells so good. A little bit of smokeless powder in the morning. But I haven't been shooting in a while, so I have really been missing it. But the air guns have been a great thing to allow me to still get range time and trigger time without with my schedule being as busy as it has been. But I took and I have a correction to make on the air gun that we talked about last week. I had mentioned that I totally
misled people.
I know, I lied to people. I said it was a Talon, and I said I spent like $700 or something. But I went to Utah Air Guns also, and I was like, oh man, I totally messed that up. So it is a Condor SS made by Air Force. And that's what I got.
Not the Talon SS.
Yeah, not the Talon. So it's a Condor SS.
So you and I were talking about it. Do you know the difference between the two other than $300?
The tank is bigger and it has
it comes in prettier colors.
It's a longer barrel and it comes in a nice pretty red color. But if you look at the top, it has extra support or a longer rail on top. So I don't know if there's valving. I don't think there's anything different with that. Maybe there is, but I put the little right-on 4X fixed four power scope on it, and it does great. I sighted in at like 30 yards or so, And so, yeah, been really happy with that one. I really want to get that little moderator adapter for the end of the muzzle to be able to use one of my new silencer / moderators on. And I shot my crown a lot more too.
They might be here this week.
Oh, is that what? Are you getting one too?
Yeah, of course. They may be here tomorrow.
Oh, okay. If you find out that they have them, you got to let me know because I'm going to grab one as soon as I got one in.
Well, so, I'm going to get mine first.
Well, we'll see about that. But anyways, yeah, I've also shot my crown a bunch. I was, shooting some apples and making them explode, and that was pretty fun.
Nice.
But yeah, it's surprising like how quiet that crown is. We'll have to go shooting sometime, and that crown with the new moderator I put on it, it is so quiet. And I freaking love that gun.
Was it the Donnie FL Sumo? Is that the moderator?
The Sumo, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So anyways, that's what I've done with guns this week.
Nice. Who wants to go next?
I'll jump in real quick. Okay. It was not very much, but I have two 80% lowers for ARs. And I have made arrangements to go to a friend's house with my own software and program it myself. And so by the end of this week, I should have two lowers ready to go get anodized. And that's what I did.
What colors are you going to do them?
I think I'm just going to do, hard anodized, dark gray.
I thought you were going to do pigs, like the flying pigs.
That's going to be after the anodization.
Oh, interesting.
I wonder if Lee doesn't anodize, but I wonder if you need to anodize it if you
can Teflon coat it.
Yeah.
Because if you took it to him anyways, I think he would sandblast it and then Teflon coat it. So
he will.
So if you don't want to anodize it, just take it over and get it Tefloned.
Might consider that.
Yeah.
But what I need to do, if I could have listener suggestions for what do I put on fire safe and full auto.
As far as the wording?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's a good request.
Yeah, it's I've already done the pew, and then the other one. I did that once, and
I think it's like pew and no pew, and then pew.
Right.
Huh.
All right. So yeah, go ahead and send us feedback. concealedtacodudes@gmail.com and let Mark know what he should have engraved for his fire, safe, and pew. So
nice.
Are you going to put a binary trigger in any of those so that you can actually use the third setting?
I don't know. Have you guys ever done it?
No.
I don't even like the idea of binary triggers personally.
I would maybe do one just cause, and but they cost a lot of money and it costs you more money in the future. So yeah.
True.
Anyways,
and it doesn't do anything to make your gun better; just shoots more,
just faster. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, okay, Evan.
I had a bunch of fun this week.
Cool.
I actually got to do some stuff with an air gun. I had a gopher in my backyard who met his untimely end because my garden. So had some fun with that. And then I've been working on, I've actually got it right here. I don't know if anybody of you guys watch like In-Range TV, Ian McCollum and stuff like that. Yeah. One of the things they're doing is the What Would Stoner Do rifles. This is one of the Kp15 lowers, right? So I didn't want to buy a completed rifle. I wanted to build my own. So I got mine set up and I got the sling attached to it this week. And that's what I've been working on.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool. Which lower is that one?
It's called the Kp15. If you want to buy just the lower by itself, you could buy it from KE Arms.
Is that polymer?
Yeah.
It's a one piece like with the stock attached, and it's like an A2 looking stock.
Yeah. Yeah. So
kind of looks old school and not at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's got
You know what that is? That's the equivalent of a mullet. Party in the back and business in the front.
So is the grip also part of it?
Yeah.
Or is the grip replaceable?
Okay.
Oh,
so
wow.
the complete lower is the lower, the grip, and the stock all one piece.
Yeah. Cool. And it's nice. It got my entire rifle. So now this rifle, as it's set up right now, is less than 6 pounds.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Well, that's what I was trying for.
And how long's the barrel on it?
18 inches.
Okay.
Wow.
I thought it looked a little bit longer.
Which barrel is that?
This is the Faxon Gunner.
Okay. And it's
Got
like
a big old checkmate brake on it.
it looks like it's a skinny barrel or thinner than normal.
So right here at the end, you can see it's like kind of a pencil profile. You can't see it too well underneath the handguard on the camera, but once when it gets to about right here and back, it's a medium profile all the way to the breech.
So
Okay.
basically from the gas block back.
Yeah, so from the gas block back, it's medium profile, and then it's pencil up front where this is. And then I just have a checkmate brake on it, just because I haven't switched it out for a suppressor mount yet. But this checkmate brake works really good. It's loud, painful.
I'm sure it's loud. I'm gonna love hearing that when we go shooting next.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say I put a brake on Noah's AR-15 that we built together. So when we go out shooting sometime, then we'll have to take both of those out and double ear pro up and then sight both of those guns in.
The best is when someone has a 10-inch AR with a muzzle brake.
I've got one of those too that we need to sight in. So.
Yeah, that's when you hear ear pro and ear muffs.
It pays someone else to sight it in.
I do have a suppressor for it that I think it goes on top of the brake. So I'll probably just throw the suppressor on just for knocking that obnoxious concussion down to minimum. So, and Evan, you ended up picking up a new suppressor, right?
I did. I got a Black. I forgot about that. I got a Black Hawk Smokestack 45, and I've had a heck of a time trying to find any kind of mounts for it.
Yeah. So for those of you who are unaware, Black Hawk, the company, they got into suppressors, making suppressors a few years back, and then seems like they immediately got out of the suppressor making right away. So I think Silencer Co. was doing all their machine work. I think basically they were just rebranded Silencer Co. suppressors, and the designs were a little bit different, but there's a lot of compatibility between the different suppressors. So for Evan, the equivalent would be like a Octane 45 HD suppressor. That's what would be equivalent to the smokestack that he got. And he got it for a killer price. How much did you get it for?
I think it was like $300 before the tax stamp.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Nice.
It was like $500 after everything's said and done.
Yeah, that's awesome. So for the adapters, though, you just need to find Octane 45 adapters, and they'll totally work.
Yeah, the trick is like Silencer Co., rugged suppressors, and Black Hawk, all three of those that fit inside the Octane barrel or Octane's assembly are all sold out everywhere. I can find some of them in some places, but then they have like $30 shipping, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's as much as the suppressor, you guys.
Yeah, well, if you end up needing to shoot it, then you could always borrow one of my adapters. So
yeah.
I took advantage of the knowledge that they were out of business and stuff, and that they were still compatible with Silencer Co. stuff. So I bought a bunch of the Black Hawk stuff when it was like a third of the cost of the Silencer Co. adapters, and they're like the same. So anyways, but yeah.
Cool. Right on. My turn.
Yep.
I actually went down south with my daughter, and we rode our mountain bikes a ton, but we camped. And so I brought my Diana pistol while we were camping, and we met up with some friends down there. And Saturday morning before we did more riding, we plinked a little bit with the Diana pistol, and that was the first time a bunch of them had ever. Actually, I was the only one there who had ever shot an air gun before, so that was their first experience with it, and they thought that was super cool. So that was kind of fun. Oh, while I was there, so this buddy of mine lives just up Provo Canyon. There's a little community off on the south side of the highway as you're heading up the canyon. This is where he grew up. He still lives there. And he was telling me, he's like, we have a community garden out there, and we have ground squirrels the size of dogs.
What?
And he has a live trap. He has a live trap, and he had been trapping them and trying to relocate them like 7-8 miles up the canyon. And he was like, the population isn't getting any smaller. And so he started spray painting them orange before he released them, and they were coming back.
Oh, dang.
So I said, I know how we can help you. I offered him our services to come and shoot ground squirrels that are spray painted glow in the dark orange and help them get them out of their garden this spring before they start planting. So we may have some business to do up the canyon here
Gun
in the
for
next
hire.
month or so when the squirrels when the squirrels start coming back.
I was gonna say, I bet Mark knows a bunch of people with like hawks who could use some extra food, so we could always harvest those.
Oh,
yep, we could harvest them, make sure there's no waste.
Perfect.
Yeah, turn them into hawk food.
Perfect.
So
I will keep you
let's do that.
posted.
And then Evan, you can always use one of mine. I got a few spares. So
I've got a few good.
So then today when I was down at Utah Airguns, I did pick up my Talon P. So I'm excited about that. The adapters for the moderators, he said, sounds like they might be in tomorrow. So I'll pick that up and a moderator for it when that gets here. I've got that right on 4-power fixed scope I got from Taco that I'm going to put on there. Justin suggested a red dot, which is what I was originally thinking, and you poo-pooed me.
Well, I mean, a red dot would be okay, but then, like, if you're trying to shoot, I don't know, that a little bit of magnification helps, and a fixed 4-power seems like it's just right for that gun. So I was going to say, I put the same scope, that right on fixed 4-power on my Air Force Condor SS, and I like the setup, so should be a good setup.
Cool. Yeah, I think it'll be a good setup. And I don't have a red dot on hand right now that is free to put on it anyway. So I'm going to pick up some scope rings hopefully tomorrow and get that put on. I actually started, because it's a pistol, it doesn't have, the bottle on it is really small. And so I'm building a stock for it that you'll be able to adjust it for length of pull, hopefully. We'll see how it turns out. I have big plans.
So you're building it out of Kydex or what?
Yes. I'm building it out of Kydex, and in my mind it's super, super cool. We'll see how it turns out. The piece I've made so far it's really nice. I'm happy with the direction it's going. So we'll see what turns out like for that. But that's what I did.
All right.
I got a question for you. What's your favorite holster you've ever designed?
Of course, it's the High Point one.
Oh yeah, the High Point one. I mean, after the High Point one.
Definitely not the High Point one.
It's got to be the one.
I can't think of what, Mark?
It just has to be what Taco wears with his 500.
The one that pulls my pants down when I wear it. The drop leg.
The drop leg holsters are probably my favorite holster right now, just because it allows so much creativity with the options of different Kydex patterns and colors and stuff like that. It's so freaking functional. It's just a good holster that you can totally make just your own one-off for it. So yeah.
all the limitations that the original design had, this thing is just amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. They're fun to build, and yeah, it's neat to see how they turn out. I had, if you guys remember, Britt from SX3, she called me last week and wanted a drop leg, and I said, great, what color do you want? Oh, just black. And I went, no, try again. She's like, really? I'm like, you have the opportunity to do whatever you want. It doesn't have to be obnoxious and flashy. You can still be conservative, but do something that's going to stand. I said, you're building a custom holster. Make it look cool, not just like everything else out there. Okay, you're right. And she said, you just do whatever you want. And I'm like, really? You're giving me full artistic freedom? And she said, yeah. She's like, I like this and this and this. And I went, okay. So I still kept it kind of conservative, but I made it in multicam black with a coyote liner. So it's still not like flashy, but it's classy. It looks good. So that was kind of cool. But anyway, let's move on. We've got a news story, don't we?
My wife actually sent me one on Instagram from some police agency, and it was the usual thing. It was somebody breaks into a house and the lady who is in there returns fire and drives them away. And I thought that's great that my family is looking for these things now.
Cool.
So the one that I was looking at was it was a sheriff's report where a bystander shoots and kills a person who stabbed a woman in North Carolina, Avery County. Deputies say a bystander shot and killed a person who had stabbed a woman and assaulted an elderly man in Avery County. The incident happened on Maple Street in Crossnore around 5:30 p.m. Friday. According to the county sheriff, Kevin Fry, there was a person involved in the altercation where they stabbed a woman and severely assaulted an elderly man. The sheriff says a bystander saw the elderly man being assaulted and intervened. That bystander reportedly shot and killed the person who did the stabbing and assaulting. Officials did not provide any other details about this incident. It's just...
That's about all the details we need. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just, I've been over into the East Coast, and you always think that the guy sitting there with a shotgun with no teeth is going to be the one that's going to get you, but it's always the person that looks normal.
The guy with the no teeth is the guy who saves you, huh?
Yeah. So it just made me think of my time over on the East Coast, and there's a lot of nice people out there.
Yeah. It's weird because that guy had to be involved in someone else's incident, and that's always spooky.
Yeah,
but glad that worked out.
That can complicate things for sure. But it sounded like that was a pretty straightforward situation.
Yeah, the guy clear. He stabbed somebody and assaulted somebody else. So yeah, sounds like he was a real winner. But
yeah,
cool.
Well,
all right,
cool. Should we jump into our topic of sorts?
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys have been wondering about Bree, Rachel, and Michelle. The three people left on The Bachelor.
Jeez.
No, I don't think we were wondering about that.
Oh, okay. Fine then. That's who's left. This is the one where they go to. I think that they hope that all kinds of salacious details will come out from this week's episode, but I don't know. I'm still thinking that Rachel is going to win. So that's all. That's your update.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Do you guys have a pool going? And
Meg Older Mama is, I think she's in Camp Michelle, and both daughters I think Bree. So I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, let's move into our topic portion. And we've been, with the previous episodes, we've talked about some ideas for prepping, and, we've talked about stuff for your vehicle, stuff for your home, 24-hour kits or go bags or whatever you want to call them. And one of the things that has been on my mind since it's warming up, the sun's coming out and there's, melting the snow and everything, is the ideas of things you can do if you have like a small yard. And the two things that came to mind were chickens and gardens. And so I was just curious of the panel here, which of you guys actually do a garden?
Yes.
I do. Jason does it better than most, at least in history he has.
I do one also.
That's interesting. Interesting that you say that. My wife is a massive gardener, and that's her stress reliever is gardening. So we help, but it's her garden.
Yeah. So Evan, do you happen to do a garden at all?
Yeah, so I was going to say my same story as Jason with me is my wife is the one who does the garden. Pretty much everything I touch dies. So she tries to keep me away from them.
Yeah, it's opposite in my family. So we do a garden or multiple gardens every year. And what we do is we assign each family member a section or a small garden area. And they are in charge of watering, weeding, fertilizing, planting, and making sure it doesn't die. And my stuff always grows really well, and I get the abundant harvest. And my wife's stuff is only alive because I save it. So she is...
you probably just pick the best spot for yourself.
Probably.
Yeah, sure. No, she'll admit that, yeah, she has a tough time keeping plants alive inside the house or outside the house. So
interesting.
now, what are some of the reasons why you would want to do a garden? Okay, obvious reasons. What are the obvious ones?
Well, so what our garden looks like, we have kind of a limited garden area, so we can't do like this massive feed yourself for the whole summer sort of situation. But we actually garden the stuff that we use a lot of. So we do tomatoes, and those turn into tomato sauce and all kinds of stuff and salsa and things that we package and then store in the freezer or can. And then we've got two other crops because they're trees and they've been around for a little bit. We have a peach tree, and that gets us, a couple 100 pounds of peaches every year, and an apple tree. So we don't do a lot, but we just do what we use a lot of, and then that turns into canning, dehydrating, and so forth.
Awesome.
Cool.
So do you primarily do it just to have like an extra source of food, or for the health benefits of having stuff grown fresh, or like flavor, or what?
Well, it's flavor mostly. Honestly, a ripe picked peach is so much better from your yard than it is from the grocery store that was picked, a week and a half or 2 weeks ago and then let to ripen. Also, the tomatoes, you can go in the backyard and grab a Roma tomato right off the vine with a pepper shaker, and it just is amazing. So flavor was kind of the number one thing. They're kind of easy to do. I think if we were to try to do, a lot of spices and weird complex things, that might be too much for us, especially with the limited space we have.
Yeah. So Jason, why do you do gardening?
Well, I think of all of us here, I have the smallest lot that my house is on. It's super tiny, but over the years, our front and back lawns have gotten smaller and smaller as our garden space has gotten bigger and bigger, and we have we've grown herbs, so fresh thyme and basil, and we have mint. We have, I don't know if we have lemongrass anymore, but we used to. We grow lots of peppers, tomatoes, green beans, cucumbers. We've had strawberries. I have 3 dwarf apple trees, which I'm pretty disappointed in. When we bought them, I thought they were gonna get more like a medium-sized tree. They're like little sticks coming out of the ground that we get like 5 apples off of them. So
bonsai apple tree.
Kinda, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's better than nothing, but I wish we had more of there. And then we grow, zucchini and yellow squash and stuff like that also.
So you're growing a lot of stuff and doing it apparently efficiently, which sort of turns my whole story on its end.
Well, there's definitely ways that you can grow a lot more stuff than like the packages are going to tell you as far as spacing stuff goes. When you have a limited space, you have to get creative in where you grow things and how you grow them. Like I built trellises and stuff. Our cucumbers grow up trellises instead of just spreading out over the ground. We have chickens, and they've kind of taken over what was our original little garden area. We had these yellow raspberries that were awesome, and I don't know what happened, but they all just withered up and died one day. I can't explain it. We had them for probably 5 or 6 years, and then they just died. So that was kind of a bummer. But yeah, it's the freshness. There's nothing better than walking out into your yard and picking the stuff that you're going to eat for dinner. One of the things I really like to do, so we'll grow probably 4 or 5 different types of like hot peppers of varying temperatures. And you always get into that time of the year where you're picking more than you can eat. And so I learned this from a neighbor. We make enchilada sauce. You just get all those peppers, doesn't matter what kind they are, how hot they are, whatever, dice them up, saute them, and then put some chicken broth in it and a few other seasonings and spices, then run it through the blender. It doesn't, there's no measuring. There's no 6 of these and 4 of those and 2 of these. It's just whatever you have, and it always turns out awesome. I give it to the neighbors and they're like, oh my gosh, that stuff was great. Sometimes it's hotter, sometimes it's more mild, but it's always good. So that's pretty cool. But
That's awesome.
The freshness, the health value, all that stuff is why we do it.
So Evan, why do you guys do gardening?
We do it for the freshness and the flavor as well. One of the reasons that we started originally is because I used to eat a lot of salads. I can't do that anymore. But you'd get the lettuce from the store, and they just always have this bitter, nasty aftertaste. And so when we started growing them ourselves, right, you just get this fresh, crisp head of lettuce or cabbage or whatever you're growing, zucchini with it to mix into the salad. And you don't have any of that weird, bitter funk that you get from the store-bought stuff.
So, Evan, on your lettuce, you just pick what you need and remove leaves, or do you remove whole heads?
We usually take the whole head because we eat the whole thing.
Okay, got it.
We probably could just do leaves, but yeah, we just cut the whole thing up and just gobble it down, put it in taco salad.
Oh, nice. So what other, so your main reason is just taste, freshness, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and then there is some health benefits for it as well. We do, especially like cabbage, focusing on like prebiotic stuff. So cabbages, garlics, things like that, that'll feed into our probiotics that we have growing. So one of the other things I do in addition to gardening is I have kefir grains that I keep and grow. And you can make those into a really good smoothie in the morning. But if you have probiotics and prebiotics, they work together to keep the cultures or the gut health going.
Nice.
That's awesome. So one of the main, we do gardening for several reasons. Primarily, I'd say is so we focus on high yield vegetables and fruits. Like we have a couple fruit trees, like an apricot tree, a peach tree, and a cherry tree. The cherry tree is always lame and it only makes a few cherries. Now I just have to beat the kids to the tree to get the cherries before they get them. But I like doing the gardening. One, flavor is great. Two, it's another food source for, if something bad were to happen and, the grocery stores run out of produce, then, you have a way to grow your own. And three, it gives it my kids a responsibility. So, in the summertime, they, sometimes they think that they are bored or something, but with a garden, it's kind of and with having them in charge of their own area, it's cool because we let them pick what they want to grow, and then they're more invested in their plot, and the success of it. So the other thing is I like to have so we grow green beans because those you get a lot for a small area, and we grow the not the bush beans, but the pole beans, and have them grow up. And so they're easier to pick. You're not bending over to pick them. And we also do a bunch of beets, and we'll eat the beet greens for the first part of the year. And then we leave them and then harvest the beets towards the end of the year. So it's kind of like a double, harvest for one thing. And the beet greens we will eat with, just sauteed, or also we can blend them up in smoothies or whatever. But we also do squashes because, man, you have a couple zucchini plants and those things will produce like crazy for the whole summer. And so we usually end up growing too many zucchini plants and harvesting way too many zucchinis. And so we have to do zucchini ninja in the backyard with my son and the machete.
Nice.
But anyways, so gardens, we've done that ever since we've lived in this house, and you can do them. You can have a very successful garden in a very small plot of land, a gardening area. And if you don't have a lot of space, you can always have things grow up instead of out. And like Jason was saying, you could use trellising to have them grow up that to maximize your acreage or whatever with the production per acre per se. But the other thing we've been looking at is chickens. So we've been down at the local, it's the local IFA, the farm store, and they have chicks now. And we've been talking with my siblings who have chickens to see what varieties they like and what production
Americanas.
Americanas.
You're not talking Araucanas, the ones with the colored shells, or?
Oh, maybe that's what they are.
Yeah, they're so cool looking.
Well, and so we've had several different types of chickens over the years. These 6 that we have now, all winter long, we get eggs. Now they slow down a little bit in the winter, but our other chickens that we've had in the past stop laying altogether in the winter. And I'm like, why am I feeding you if you aren't giving me anything? But these have been awesome. Like, we have eggs stacked all over the counter. So I don't know if you guys know, but when you go pick up the eggs, if you don't wash them, they can live on your counter for many days. If you
wash them, then
if you do not wash them. If you wash them, there's a membrane that's on there that preserves them just out in the open. But once they're washed, then they have to be refrigerated.
I've actually heard that if you were to wash it, then if you coat them in a light coating of mineral oil, it makes the eggs last like a really long time.
I've heard that before too. Yeah.
Never tried it, but I've heard it.
Yeah, I haven't tried that either.
So how many chickens do you have, Jason?
We have 6.
6.
Yeah. And
that's a lot.
Yeah. And they have a fair bit of space, but I don't feel like we're, abusing them and keeping them confined in a tiny spot. But right now, my wife has just left the pen open, which, lets them out in the yard and they can scratch and do all that. But now there's just giant bird poos everywhere, which is kind of not so nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You just till it into the ground.
Yeah, I'll till it into my lawn.
Right.
But one of the questions is, are you saving money on buying eggs by having chickens? And the answer is no.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, is that you don't save money, but you get fresh eggs. And you have that independence from the grocery store.
Exactly.
In case something goes wrong, you have a continual protein source.
Yeah. And the eggs are 1,000,000 times better than the best eggs you're going to buy at the grocery store.
The shells are thicker. Everything is just totally
yolks,
egg plus. Yeah.
Yeah. The yolks are like orange juice, orange, So it is worth it. The other thing that is great about chickens, we always refer to pigs as the animal that will eat anything and everything. Chickens are even better than pigs for that.
Yep.
Any table scraps, unless it's chicken.
Well, they do that too. It's just weird.
I know. I just don't want mine to.
You got to be careful not to give them avocado because that'll kill them.
That's not true, because we give them avocado all the time.
If you give them avocado skin, supposedly that's poisonous to them and can kill them.
I haven't heard that. We throw the skins out there all the time. They just pick the inside clean.
Yeah, so if they pick the insides clean, they're supposed to be okay. But if they start eating the skins,
the skin itself,
yeah,
I'll have to look into that.
We have to watch out because our chicken started eating just like you were saying, everything. And yeah, the avocado skins can be poisonous in the pit, but this actual fruit of it's okay.
Yeah, well,
interesting.
I'll have to look at that. But yeah, any fruit or vegetable scraps. I guess they don't like citrus,
right?
But pretty much anything else, it goes out to the chickens. My wife is a lunch lady, so she brings stuff home that they're throwing out all the time that just goes into the chicken pen, and so you can feed them cheaper if you do that. I like having chickens mostly because I don't have to do anything for them.
If you do have a way to keep them partially contained, when they're out and free, they do an amazing job of pest control. They every bug in your yard is gone.
They do.
Every small mouse is gone too.
Yeah.
But not gophers.
Right. Not the gophers.
Not gophers.
So have to get an air rifle for those things. So one of the other benefits too of having the chicken is if you have we have like a little dog enclosure that we use, and you can move that around to your different garden areas, and then we just have the chicken scraps and till up dirt kind of when they're scratching in the dirt, and then you just move the pen, and then you just move your gardens to those areas, and then you already have the chicken fertilizer or bombs as Jason has them in his yard.
Yeah.
To help your garden grow.
Nice.
Awesome.
So you guys are thinking about chickens, Taco?
Yeah, I think we're going to do it this year, and about now is the time that you got to get the chickens, and I don't think they produce until fall or something like that.
Yeah. So. The first years. Yeah. One thing that you need to consider also is keeping them watered in the wintertime gets tricky because it freezes. So we have a heated waterer, which is nice, but it does require running an extension cord all the way out to the chicken coop.
Yeah, we have bunnies.
Just things to think about.
We have to do that already. But yeah, we're thinking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're thinking about, getting the chickens so that we have that. Because my kids eat so many eggs, and they also like to bake. So they bake cookies all the time.
Yep.
Stuff like that, and that uses up eggs. So
Jason, how many eggs per chicken per day? Are you getting about 1 per day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The wintertime, I think we were getting like 3 to 4 a day, but in the summertime we get six eggs a day.
Cool.
All right. Well, that's all I got as far as chickens and gardens.
Chickens and gardens. It's good preparedness stuff.
Well,
everybody should look at those options.
We've got some serious preppers in the audience. Maybe they can give us a little bit of a heads up or a trick, or how to keep your chickens clean, how to house train them, whatever.
House train them. Yeah.
Well, before we sign off, let's touch on mag holder and concealment solutions.
All right.
We had somebody call today, and so my wife actually answered the phone as mag holder mama.
Nice.
Yeah, I was a little
She
surprised.
has embraced it.
She really has, and I'm not sure what to think about it fully, but things are going well. We've got new products in the pipeline that I can't talk about because I just don't want to disappoint anybody if it takes longer than we think. But we do have some new stuff coming out.
Cool.
We're working on it. So Thank you very much. Thank you for using the Mag Holder Mama code. It's been popular. And my wife just extended it through the month of March.
Nice.
That's it.
Awesome.
All right. Concealment solutions.
Cool. So last week I mentioned that I was going to release that CRKT rescue knife and sheath that you can mount it in your vehicle. Those are now on the website and available for a pre-order. So if you order one now, they should be shipping by the end of the month. So that's where we're at with that. But you get it on there. You can order the sheath in any color or pattern of Kydex you want. I think it's $90 for the knife and the sheath. So those should be pretty popular. If you drive a vehicle, you should have one of those. That's my opinion.
It's a really neat looking prototype you had.
Yeah. Well, I've been using one for years. It just occurred to me recently that other people might want these. So anyway, and I am working on some new stuff that I've talked about in the past that has taken forever to come to fruition. So once I have them in hand, then I will talk about them. But continue to use the code Show Me the Candy. I'm throwing some stickers and stuff like that in when you use that code, and it saves you a bunch of money. So go check it out, and that's all I have.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Next week. Maybe we'll have some varmint stories.
Chicken sounds in the background.
Chickens and varmints.
Chickens and varmints. And toothless dudes on the porch with shotguns.
All right.
Okay. See y'all next week.
Take someone shooting. Because I don't want to talk super long about that, because it's kind of like a gun podcast, and we're talking about chickens and gardens, but
but it's prepping also.
Yeah,
it's not just a gun podcast, and that'll keep it shorter. We already talked a little bit about what you can do, for reloading and stuff. Still,